Welcome to Gotta Ask. This is a presentation of Ump Life, the premier provider of customized umpire accessories and unique game use amenities. Tonight's program is entitled Tips and Tricks and focuses on uniforms, shoes, and general equipment uses. Please type your question in the chat box below and we will get to them as soon as we can. This video will be posted to the Ump Life page as well as the Ump Life TV YouTube page after tonight's show for viewing. Keep in mind, this feed is about 30 to 40 seconds behind what you are currently seeing. And now the host of Gotta Ask, Ray Brownlee.
It's like the Tonight Show. Hey, Tommy, thanks for doing that, buddy.
Hey, good evening, man.
Welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do tips and tricks like I said I was going to, but my budget was kind of tight this week and the green screen that I ordered didn't show up. So I can't really show you a product, but I will demonstrate. I'm going to pick up a mask in my right hand and you can see what happens. It's not there. So next week we can do, what I'll try and do is the questions that I had, I'll try and do some videos and show you what I was going to talk about. We'll still cover it, but we'll talk about it. I can't show you. And we've got something really cool tonight. If you want to join live with us, simply PM Tommy Owens, the admin and our executive producer, and he will invite you to log in. Okay. And if you want to talk live to us, you can. And if not, we will talk about some of the things that you guys sent questions in for. So Tom, you want to hit it off?
Yep. So inside of the chat window below here, you'll see a it says Umpire Speak. So that's where you send me a message tonight. So let's go ahead and go through the first couple of questions you got, Ray. So the first one is from Tiffany Robling, and she talks about the American flag patch. So let's talk a little bit about the American flag patch.
Okay. So thank you for the question, Tiffany. It was a good one. And no offense was meant today on the husband t-shirt, so we'll work on something for you with that, Kelly, also. So that was a tough question for me because I'm a Canadian and not an American, but I actually looked at a bunch of websites and found you the answer. The reason they wear the flag backwards in the military is to demonstrate or to show the flag being carried into battle. So it would be like the wind hitting the flag. That's why the blue and the stars are on the right side on a right sleeve. Military EMS, they wear the flag normally, and Major League Baseball do copy the way the military do it, but they don't have to do it that way. So they could wear it the proper way with the stars and the box on the left and the stripes going that way. So that's the best I can tell you. As for placements, every association has their own version of where it should go. There wasn't a lot of help out there. I contacted a few sporting goods manufacturers who make uniforms, and everyone had a different answer also. So that's the reason it's worn backwards. But for baseball or any other sport, you do not have to wear the flag as if it was moving and the wind hitting it to create the opposite effect. Okay, so you can wear it the regular way on uniform. So hopefully that helped your question. Tommy?
So Ray, there's another part of that too that some people don't realize. There's a trim around the flag, and sometimes it's in white or silver, and other times it's in gold. Yeah, and that's kind of a little important part to remember as well when it comes to the flag. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the gold trim flag is supposed to be reserved for people who actually have served.
Good point.
If I'm not mistaken. So
good point.
All right. So the next question here is up from Jake Block, and he has a couple of questions. His first question has to do with, 3 questions. Transporting shirts wrinkle free. That's the first one.
Okay. I'm going to just tell you right now that it's almost impossible. Okay. Even the guys in the major leagues who have one full-time and a part-time club attendant, even their shirts have a wrinkle or their pants might have a little thing in it. Okay. If you look presentable out there, no one will ever give you a hard time. So by trying to, as good intentions it is to have a perfect shirt, a perfect pair of pants, and the shiniest shoes ever, I think you might be overdoing it. There's lots of ways to transport. I'm an e-bag user, the 29-inch mother load. So I put my equipment on the top part, but I always pack the uniform in the bottom, and I separate it into 3 sections. Okay, so it's shirts, t-shirts, probably underwear, and then whatever jacket, 2 jackets, mock turtleneck, socks, and then whatever else I need in the 3rd compartment or the 3rd block. And then I usually put my cup, shoes, chest pad, 2 masks, my hats in the top part. If you look at on e-bags, I'll give them a shout out because they do some good stuff. They're called cubes. They fit perfectly in an e-bag, so you can, again, I can't show you because it won't show up. So there is at Michael's or any hobby store, you can find a t-shirt folding press. It's just a piece of plastic. You put it on the table, lay your t-shirt down, 1, 2, and then the back up, and you have a perfect rectangle, which will fit in the cube. So that's what I recommend. Like, that's what I do. I'm gonna try and show you one right now with a shirt in it, but it probably isn't gonna show up. So I will do my best to stay still. Oh. How's that? Oh, there's a t-shirt folding thing right there. I'm wondering, I thought that my computer went down, but that's great, Tommy. Yeah, they're worth it to have. So I've got the cube up there now, and it's, I'm trying to keep it still, but you can buy these in a set. There you go, right there. Good job, Tommy. Let me just grab something else over here. I'll disappear for a minute. Yeah. So they come in a bunch of sizes. I bought the set. So in here is underwear and socks. And there's one more to make up the set. So they are really good to have. And, you can throw them in the washing machine too. So hopefully that helps. But again, try not to go over the top. That's a great bag right there.
Look at the price on it today, Ray.
That's a great price. Folks, that's usually $250. You should be jumping on that right now. We don't get a commission for it, but best bag, if you did a survey of every minor league umpire out there from AAA down to rookie league, they probably have that bag, and they probably paid $249.99 for it. It goes great wheels, lifetime guarantee. If a zipper pops, a wheel breaks, you phone them up, and they just send you out the bag. That gray one looks sharp too.
Yeah, for those of you guys that do other sports, like I do basketball as well, I have the 21-incher, and it's great for basketball. It's a perfect size. You can keep 2 pairs of shoes in the bottom of it, uniforms in the top. It's a great bag.
Yeah, but let me just disappear for a sec, because you're talking about that bag, Tommy. Just when I want to cover this Tommy's talking about a bag for basketball. This is a new bag. This is actually, I know it's hard to see it, but I'll do my best to, there you go. This is actually Tommy's bag. He's been helping me so much with this show. This is actually heading down to him tomorrow. So thanks for that, Tommy. You're going to love it.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay, Jake had another question. So yeah, getting back to that, the cubes are really good. Don't overdo your, you don't need razor cutter stripes on your sleeves or your pants. All right, as long as you look good, you're fine. Okay.
Okay. So the next question from Jake was plate brush care. How to take care of your plate brush.
I'm a back pocket guy. I'm holding one up and it's not there. So there you go. That's a Mizuno, but we're actually getting these now, Ump Life branded. And I'm also the Japanese style. We're getting Ump Life. We'll be getting these too. I'm a back pocket guy. So since I put this in my back pocket, I get a little dirt on my pocket. So I looked at these plate brushes today, and before I put them away for the winter, what I did was I just got an old sponge from the kitchen, and hot water and some soap, and I got in all the crevices, and then I took the bristles and I rubbed them on a wall, and then when I went and got air in my tires, I just gave it a good thing with the air hose. That cleaned it. So I've never really thought about maintaining your plate brush, but it's a good question because at $50 for one of these things, $49.99. These are 4 years old, and I've got an inch and a quarter left on the brush. There you go. So yeah, it's a good, we'll talk about maintenance. I think maintenance of wall equipment's a good thing. So that's little soap and water, a little elbow grease, let it air dry, and you're good to go. Hopefully that helps. But I've never had that question before, but it's a really good question. So moving on, Tommy.
All right. So last question from Jake is, how do you clean the mesh on your base shoes?
Again, you can buy a can of compressed air at the dollar store or a computer store. Again, I'm going to hold up a prop that's probably not going to work. There you go. Compressed air. That's what I use. A nice a bristle brush to get it out, and even a damp cloth. If you just put a damp cloth on it and push down, you'll get most of the dirt being saturated back into the cloth. It's just, taking, and it's not 5 games before you do it. It's wipe it down after every game. When you're getting undressed, there's nothing worse when I'm working, when an umpire shows up and he's cleaning the shoes 5 minutes before we're going on the field for the ground rules. It should have been done the night before. So just look at your equipment after you use it. You ever wonder why you're doing this and your chest pad doesn't feel right? The chances are the slider could have come undone. And there's nothing worse when you have to try and fix that on the fly. So look at your equipment before you use it. After the game, go through it again, wipe it down, Febreze it, put it back in the bag the way you packed it. All your dirty stuff goes into your laundry bag. Carry that separately. Don't put it in there and contaminate your stuff even worse. Get it home. Get your clothes in the washing machine. That's really important. And don't go, I'm too tired, I'll get them in the morning. If you get them in the morning, they're going to be wrinkled. Sometimes you got to stay up that extra hour to wait for it so you can hang it up. But yeah, just look at your equipment after you use it, before you use it, and always maintain it. We pay a lot of money for this stuff. Like, we're paying $140 for plate shoes and $101 for base shoes. I'm lucky. Well, I guess I go through shoes pretty hard. So I buy them every year and a half. I get new plate shoes, but I take care of them. So I probably could get another year, but I just like having new stuff. So, and then I donate the old stuff. So just maintain your equipment, look at it, and it'll treat you well. But if you treat your uniforms and your equipment terribly, it's going to stink. It's never going to be comfortable. And umpires will start to notice that you're that guy who doesn't take care of his stuff. So just maintain your stuff, and Febreze is your friend. It's like duct tape. Tommy?
All right. So the next question is from S. James Archangel. Uniform lasting durability. Do you professionally clean or do you do personal home cleaning?
Great question. His name's actually Wayne, but
Wayne.
He goes by that Archangel handle. He sent me a graphic once, and I'm going, whoa, what's that all about? And he goes, it's part of my work. I went, okay. I dry clean my plate coat. That's the only thing I dry clean. And everything I have is, so my underwear, my socks, t-shirts, game shirts, mock turtles, everything goes in cold water together. And regular cycle, cold water detergent from Costco, Purex, I think it's called. Hang immediately afterwards. I never put anything in the dryer other than maybe a t-shirt now and then. But everything goes on a hanger for me, and it hangs in the laundry room, or it goes right to the garage where it's humid in the summertime. I have the garage set up like a clubhouse for myself in the summer. So I know guys who send their pants to the cleaners every couple of weeks, dry clean them. I'm a Smitty polyester guy, the 4-way stretch pants. I rotate 4 pairs of plate and base pants, but I wash them after every use. No fading, just take care of my stuff. So if you want to dry clean, that's up to you. Down in the US, you guys can write that off. We can't up here. So I'm a big believer in taking care of my own stuff, except for my plate coat. That's the only thing that goes to the dry cleaner. And it's usually, if I get to wear it 3 or 4 times in the spring, it goes to the dry cleaners. And then it's good for the fall. And after I'm done in the fall, it goes back to the dry cleaners, and then it's up in my bedroom with my other suits. So plate coat by day, dinner jacket by night. So hopefully that helps, Wayne.
Okay, so the next one is from Jordy Dwyer.
Mm-hmm.
Mask and chest protector maintenance.
Same thing. Don't let it sit in your bag after you use it on a hot day in Alabama or Florida or Arizona on a hot, brutal day, because that thing will stink. Don't put it in your car either. So maintain it. You take it off, have a look at the plastic. Maybe a rivet popped. It takes 30 seconds to scan your chest pad, all right? You put it in your bag. Before you put it in the bag, hang it up, get your Febreze out, give it a good soaking, back in the bag, and it should be only hard goods, okay? So that's your cup, your shin pads, your mask pads, and your chest pad, okay? Or your helmet, whatever you use. It goes in the top part of my bag, and the first thing I do, I get home, right into the garage. I've already Febrezed it, but now I'm going to hang it up in its place in my garage. I have the grid wall net, or not netting, but metal frame. So I've got all the hooks and everything, and I hang my chest pad up. I turn it around with the plastic facing the wall. I again Febreze it again. Same thing with my hats. They come out, they hang on hooks. I Febreze those. That way, believe it or not, if you had a hot night, if you leave it overnight to dry on its own, you will have a salt stain. If you Febreze it before you hang it, it'll be perfect. Trust me on that. So yeah, taking care of your mask, looking at your mask, wipe your pads down. You can Febreze them, or you can get a baby wipe and just wipe them down. And it also works on the polyester material ones, the soft pads. I'm a leather guy, but my mag mask has a material pad, so I Febreze those. So yeah, just take care of your stuff, and it'll take care of you. Hopefully that helps.
All right, so we're moving on to the next question from Matthew Priest. His question was about permanent creases in pants besides taking to the cleaners.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, Ray, on this one here, I'm a perma crease guy.
Okay, why do you do that?
So a couple of years ago, I want to say it was probably 8 or 9 years ago, I was having problems with creases in my pants and taking them to the cleaners, having to get them pressed every time. And I referee several sports and officiate several sports.
Yep.
And I always get all my stuff tailored at Men's Warehouse, and that's not an endorsement of them. It's just they're local and they do a great job. And I was telling him, I have a problem keeping creases. And he said, well, we do something called a perma crease here.
Yep.
I said, what exactly is that? He says that they put a crease in the pants, they turn them inside out, they pour silicone into the crease and repress it. I've got pants that I've had for 4 years and the crease is still in them like day one, and it's never gone away. And what I use it for is I alternate my pants between cleaners and home, but when I go to press them, I don't have to find the new crease again. The crease is always there.
Yep.
So when I get them out, I'm able to have a crease immediately and know where to go start pressing them.
Okay.
That's my take on it.
That's I don't know if you're that you want to do that, and I know guys who've went to the same place and had them done. What I recommend is you don't do the crease all the way up as far as it'll go. It looks real. I personally think it looks really bad when that crease goes all the way up for some reason. But if you want to do it, do it. It's whatever is easiest for you. Okay. I believe in washing my stuff and taking care of it myself. I know how to iron. I hardly ever iron my pants. Every now and then with poly walls, I give them a quick brush over or iron. I take my pants out of the machine. I give them a snap like a wet towel. I have hangers I showed you the other night with prongs on them that slide back and forth, so they're going this way. I hang my pants from the feet to the waist. So the waist is at the bottom, and just the weight of the wet pants on the hooks actually helps your crease stay there forever, if that makes sense. It really does a great job. And
Makes sense to me. I stop my crease about halfway mid thigh is where it
Yeah.
stops.
let me, I'll keep talking, Tommy. I'll just grab a hanger. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So another thing about pants, if you guys haven't thought about it before, is it's worth the extra $15 or $20 if you have a tailor that you like to go in and have them take a few minutes, take your plate shoes with you, have them adjust the bottoms of them around your plate shoes,
Yeah.
do it both standing and in your stance, have them take it in on the back, wear your belt in with your ball bags on it. It makes a big difference because if they tailor it for where you wear it, it looks so good on the field.
Excuse me. Okay, I got a hanger. So these are the hangers I use. Yeah, so you can see they open up, and they slide. So they're great for the base and the plate. Excuse me. I got these at Sears when they were closing down. I think I bought 100 of them, and they were like 10 cents each. So you could go into a department store and say, "Hey, can I get some of your old hangers?" These work fantastic. So just thought I'd show you that. Okay, what are we doing now, Tommy?
All right. So the next question is David Loudermilk. Marking lineup cards, subs, mound visit notes, etc. I feel like we all have different ways of doing it.
Yeah. So I'm not going to show you how, I'm going to tell you how I do it. I'm a letter guy. I just go, okay, I use the alphabet, and it's 22 for 48. So I just, it's A and A. And I write it, then I turn my lineup card holder and I write just the numbers, 22 for 40, 20, whatever it was, 23 for 42. And let's say I missed something, I can actually figure it out by looking at what I wrote down. And every person does it differently, so I can't tell you the best way to do it. Some guys use numbers. There's so many different ways to do it. I personally like the letters, and it's just like 22 for 48. So it's letter A, and for 48, it's letter A, and then if he's going to be moved, he becomes B. The next guy is B, the next guy is C. It works for me that way, and I've never got to Z yet, or Z. So everybody has a different way of doing it. How do you do it, Tommy?
I actually have a method that I use where I put lines above and lines below for the top and the bottom of the inning, and I've actually got a whole PowerPoint on it because I've taught it as a class, and I'll dump it in the file section of the page if people want to look at it. It's got a PowerPoint with it, and it's pretty good. You can almost redo the game. It doesn't keep score or any of that, but you can tell exactly who was in when they were taken out, if they were a pitcher, how many visits they got, if they were a courtesy runner under Federation rules, whether or not they were eligible. So it's just the method that I use.
Oh, one of our members sent me how he does it with trips to the mound and stuff. Now, if your league does that, then he made a template, and I will share it on Ump Life. I just have to find it again. I meant to do it, but I got kind of tied up. So I'll share that with the members too. It's actually a template you can print off and use. We don't do it in my league, so right now I don't have to worry about it, but there is a template that you can record the inning, which team did it, trip one. So, just bear with me on that. I'll get you that out there. What else was I going to say? Yeah, that's about it. So we'll find that and get it up there. And hey, Tommy, do we have anybody wanting to join us live?
I'm looking now. I haven't got any messages from anybody. I thought somebody would jump at this because
Yeah.
nobody else has done that before. I
Well, I don't know. But
think
like,
people are scared.
yeah, you know what? Like a lot of people don't want to be doing this, but I have so much time right now. It's actually been fun doing it. Just getting to tell you what I'm thinking and what I know others are thinking. So it's kind of cool. A good friend of mine, Eddie Fannin in the UK, he's been an umpire for a long time. He was asking me about the conversion I did from a Force 3 or Force 3 version 1 with the gold plates. Eddie, if you're listening or you want to watch this tomorrow, if you look at the Velcro tabs on the top of the Force 3, they will fit the gold part and literally sits on your chest pretty good. All I did at the bottom was I punched a hole through the Kevlar and used it as a zip tie to secure the bottom part of the T-hook part to the chest pad. And I didn't use the Force 3 shoulder pads. I used the Adams or the shoulder pad, shoulder things, pads. I think they're really good pads and they make the Force 3 even look better. So, yeah. Okay, Tommy, what's next?
All right. So next up is Braden West. Stopping your pants from getting stuck in shin guards.
Had a really good conversation with Lewis Nickerson about this today. Lewis is the NASA guy who's doing the electronic indicator. He's doesn't really work for NASA, but he's so technically sound. That's what he does for a living. And I call him my NASA guy today. And you saw a couple of graphics I did for him on his page today. I put the electronic indicator on pad 39A at NASA or Kennedy, and I made a joke, and then I got a control room out there and threw in all his stuff. So that was fun to do today for him. Getting your pen, I'm going to tell you right now, every person is different. Every person has a different build. Every person wears their belt not as tight as the next person or likes them higher. So here's the deal with that. And I know this from experience based on watching my good friend Joe West. If you look at any photograph of Joe West doing the plate, his right pant leg is 3 inches higher than his left leg with shin guards on. And it's a running joke. He doesn't care because that's the way he stands. That's what happens with him. Now, another guy, Dave Gattenby, a good Canadian guy living down in the States, he made a comment saying, if you get your pants hemmed correctly, this should never happen. Well, that's absolutely not true, because if everybody was identical, then it shouldn't happen. But we're not. We're all different sizes. So I kind of debunked that theory, and I believe based on what I've seen with Joe West and a couple other major league umpires, it's the way they stand. It's that right foot in the slot could be twisted on a left-handed batter to give him a better angle, I'll do it that way. And I actually, if you look at any guy doing the scissors, the right leg is always, it's like that much riding up the shin pad. So the scissors is different than the slot, but if you watch Joe West do the plate, and 3 innings later, he doesn't even adjust that pant because it's going to go back there the way it is. It's the way he stands. So hopefully that's my interpretation. I think it's a valid interpretation. I can't prove it, but I've seen it so many times with Joe West. It's just him, and it's probably the same thing that you're doing. If we were all identical, we either would have that problem or we don't. I think everybody's different in every, I haven't even seen that problem at the minor league level with all the guys I've seen in the minor leagues when me and Mrs. B do our little road trips. So, and every now and then something will get caught up somewhere. So that's all I can tell you. I think it happens, but I think it's just on the individual. And hopefully you'll understand what I'm talking about. I don't think there's a way to correct it. So that's the best info I can give you on that.
Okay, great. So Adam Ullman's going to be joining us here in just a moment.
Cool.
All right. So Richard Bavalakwa, he says, I see so many plate umpires wearing their chest protector. They have them sticking way out, not looking professional. Yes, I've purchased the harness and he loves it. He wants to put that in there. You see the MLB umpires, and they never have this issue. So what do they do differently? Are theirs so much shorter?
No. There's a couple of guys in Major League Baseball who wear 13-inch chest pad. Okay. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give you my best guess from based on what I've seen in the clubhouse. They're wearing the same gear, guys. There's 2 Carlucci's, 3 or 4 Powers, tons of Golds, maybe 5 or 6 Douglases. I think there's one. I don't know if there's still one Honigs, but there is no secret. You got to remember, these guys have been doing this a long time, and from the experience that I've had, they didn't have it dialed in either until they got a proper fitting with my harness. So there's a couple of guys in the major leagues that are big guys. It's how you're built, really. I'll talk about low profile. I talk to guys in the major leagues about this, and this low profile thing is really a myth, because yeah, they would love to be thinned out, but they also want to be able to work, because when you get thinner, you're going to get hurt more. So nobody's doing it differently. They're wearing it tight on top after they've been with me. It's tight on top and snug on the sides. And yeah, they're wearing my harness, but as opposed to when they weren't wearing my harness, it was every other pitch. They're doing that. I've never noticed that. I only notice when a guy has the twitch, all right? And there's guys using my harness still doing the twitch every pitch. They've done it for so long, they can't get out of that habit. But now they're feeling, wow, it's still there. I'm really touching my shirt. They're not doing it any differently. I look at Ted Barrett wearing the Carlucci. It's not like low profile. You can tell it's Carlucci. It's a lot thicker. So I don't think there is I think TV is not as good as they say. You actually look way bigger than when you're on television you are in real life. I've been on television a couple of times and I went, oh my God, I don't look good. So I don't think there is an issue. A lot of guys don't work enough to actually break in a chest pad too. I know guys who take their equipment and run their car over the pad. You're not going to make it thinner. It's going to go right back to where it was, because it's just a cushion. All right. So in theory, you made it smaller, but give it time, it goes back to where it was. So there is no magic answer for you, Rich. Sorry about that, but I just think that every person is built differently, and it's always going to look different on everybody. For example, Kelly Elliott Dine wears a Douglas. Okay, she had the gold. She got a Douglas. I'm working on it, something for her, and she's bigger on top than other women who are smaller. So if you look at Kelly and you look at Emma, and they're wearing the same rig, the one on Kelly's going to look bigger, according to Emma. Emma could wear a platinum and look like Mrs. RoboCop. She'll look great in it because she's got a different frame than Kelly or Jim or Bob. You know what I mean? If you're built like that, if you're built like a stick man, you're going to wear a 14-inch Douglas or whatever chest pad, or a Champion low profile, $49 rig, and you're going to look like a little guy. You're going to look, wow, he's just a stick guy. But if you're a big guy like me, it doesn't matter what you wear, you're going to look big. It's how your uniform looks will help people get over that stigma of, like, he's a big umpire. Hopefully he can umpire. Well, if you walk out there and looking great, guess what? They're going to go, oh, that guy came prepared. So getting back to your answer, Rich, I don't think there is an issue with Major League Baseball. I think it's what you see on TV is like perception is not everything. In reality, they're wearing the same rig we are, and tight on top, snug on the sides, and a tailored shirt that might help. You could have you might be wearing a 3XL shirt and you only need a 2XL. So maybe look at your shirts. Maybe you don't need a bigger shirt. And with the new Smitty Body Flex and the way a Majestic's made, I think you can, guys in minor leagues were tailoring their shirts, and some of them were getting marks against them for over tailoring their shirts. So they had these things sticking out, but the shirt was so tight, like that NFL referee, if you get my drift. You don't need to do that to your uniform, okay? You can tailor it a little bit on a little duck here and a duck there and tailor it a little bit. That's all I can tell you, man. Hopefully that helps. I didn't mean to be so long-winded, but I get going on something and I can't stop.
Well, Ray, I also think another thing, people are afraid to customize their equipment when they buy it for some reason.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with getting a heat gun, and if there's a piece of plastic it continually sticks out in your way, get a heat gun and bend it down and get it out of your way. So
It works.
all right. So we're going to bring on Adam Ullman on the line. Adam, you're live on Gotta Ask.
Thanks, Tommy. Hi, Ray. Love your stuff. Thanks for taking the time. Just wanted to ask you a quick question about socks. So I've used several different brands of socks in the past, and I was wondering if you had a specific brand or type that you found works better than others.
Ever since they moved plants, different factories, different Far East, and now I now wear an 11, and I'm a 10.5 40 in a plate shoe, New Balance plate shoe. I was a 10.5 in a Magistrate Reebok plate shoe and bases. Nikes don't fit me anymore. So obviously socks were an issue. So I couldn't get I didn't want a ski for a shoe and then have to wear a thick sock. So I decided to I bought the Major League Baseball socks. I bought the Force 3 socks. I believe Evans had a sock, or Under Armour had a sock, then Nike had a sock. None of them, I couldn't get them over my calf, okay? So it was uncomfortable. It took forever to get them on. So I went to Walmart and I bought Fruit of the Loom black and gray sports socks. And I think they were $14 for 8 pairs. And that's what I've been wearing ever since. And I actually was going to get into the sock market. And I've had a lot of guys ask me, hey, do a sock. There's just so much competition out there. And I could probably replicate the same sock from Fruit of the Loom. I could just probably made in one of the factories I use now. So yeah, you know what? I'm not cheap on socks. They're cushioned. They're comfortable to wear. I wear them. They're called a crew sock. They come up about 8 inches, 9 inches. I don't like them above my calf because I wear leggings. I don't wear just come over. I put my socks on, put my underwear on, my Nutty Buddy, and then I pull these leg sleeves up to the top of my calves, and my socks are already on, so I can't wear the all-in-ones either. I tried the Long John route, and that was uncomfortable. So getting back to the socks, I think you'll find a pair. Even in Costco, I bought some, not Fruit of the Loom, Puma socks, and they were just as good as the ones from Walmart, a little more expensive, but they're black and gray and they don't look out of place, and they'll be great for umpiring. So you can spend a lot of money, or it's whatever works on your feet. It's like shopping for shin pads or chest pad or shirts, undershirts, hats, whatever feels good on your head, your feet, your arms, your calves. That's what I would recommend. Just what are you wearing now, Adam?
He's dropped off the line.
Why do you do that?
But he asked his question. He was heading back. I can get him back on though.
No, hopefully that answered your question, Adam. But just I didn't even mean to go so long, but it's something that I trial and error, man. You find out what works for you. Okay, what's next, Tommy?
All right, so it looks like Mr. Archangel asked again, Ray, do you use or prefer longer laces or regular laces for plate or base shoes?
I use what comes in the shoe. I have enough room to do my plate shoes up and double knot it and tuck it. Same with the bases. I double knot it and tuck it because you just don't want it coming undone. So I use the laces. And again, I'm going to tell you about laces because there was a post, a thread for, it seemed to last forever on a bunch of umpire media outlets, and New Balance shoes or laces or blah, blah, blah. You know what? I've had one lace break in 20 something years and never had I had a Reebok lace break once and one New Balance. So again, it goes back to maintaining your equipment. And if you don't, like in my U bag, I carry extra laces, a brand new pack of laces. And by chance I break a lace, if I can fix that for that game without taking it all out, I'll just fix it, tie it up. But when I get home, before I get in the house, I'm going to relace my shoe. I'm going to pull the tongue, put a new lace in. In fact, I'm actually going to put laces in both shoes. That way I'm good. I'm golden. And on the way to my next game, I'm going to Walmart and buying another set of laces. So that's what I do. And that's just maintenance. Easy. It's easy to buy a product and use it. The hardest part is maintaining it. And I'm a big stickler on uniform and equipment maintenance. So always have a spare set of laces in your bag. Hopefully that answers your question, Wayne.
Yeah. So, like 3 or 4 years ago, I bought 4 pairs of New Balance laces and put them in my bag because I heard the same thing about New Balance laces.
Yep.
Those laces are still in my bag in the same package. Never had a problem out of it.
I was a 300 game a year guy. Now I'm just like 70 a year.
Yeah. And I actually use 2 pairs of laces in my plate shoes, believe it or not. I like my shoes to fit tight. And what I did is I laced my plate shoes up so I can tie the plate shoe first. And then the second set of laces just holds the tongue on. So I'm able to get the shoe on tight and then the tongue just tightens down separate. Sounds like overkill, but it's just comfortable for me.
No, true story here. Mike Victor and I, when we bought our, Victor is a former Major League umpire, a good friend of mine, and we're on the phone together on video, and I can't figure out how to get the New Balance version of the plate shoe to sit properly. And he couldn't either. And between the two of us, we figured it out, but we were going back and forth for probably an hour. Like, I must be dumb because I can't figure this out. And he couldn't either. Whereas the old ones, it was just bang, 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 boom, done. These new ones, because that metatarsal has that curve going this way, you got to get it down and lace it in and lock it down. So we figured it out. But yeah, new shoes scared me, man. That was like a nightmare. And I'm weeks away from my first game, but I'm thinking I better get the shin pads on and the shoes to make sure I got this right. And me and him could not figure it out. So a guy who's in the business and a guy who worked in Major League Baseballs, and we finally figured it out. But we were kind of panicking 2 weeks before our season started. So funny story.
We have somebody trying to get on the line with us now. So let me see what I have in the list here. Let's see.
Oh, I got one guy asked me a question. I don't know. I don't know if I put it on the list or not. He had problems with his shin pads at the bottom. So he's in his plate gear, and during the game, his ankles are flaring out, if that makes sense. And the only time I've ever seen that happen is on the diamond shin pads. I had those shin pads and I noticed that problem, and it was an issue. It was not enough thick material to stop. You're obviously pushing down on your shin pads. If you're locked in, you might be, and you might not know you're doing it, but you got your hands on knees and you're locked. And if that's how you umpire, you're actually putting pressure on the kneecap and you're pushing it down. So it has nowhere to go because you're compressing the top of the shoe. So the only thing that can happen is the wings are going to spread, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try and grab this prop here. Hopefully it'll help him. This is a 4-3 shin guard with, I'm going to just get it to here. So he was having problems with that. Oh, come on. I'll try it here.
See if you can turn off your background if you want. It might make it a little better.
Yeah, just let me. Well, anyways, he was, if you can see the wings here, they were flaring out. There you go. So that's what I understand he was having the problem with. So I thought, okay, a quick solution is just an elastic band, band that I made on the sewing machine before the show, and it's just Velcro. So you can hear that. It's just get your shin pads on, pull your pant up a bit, you're locked into your shoes, shin pads are in. Just put this around the bottom part and Velcro it together, and hopefully that'll keep that ankle guard from flaring out. So hopefully that helps. I can't remember who submitted the question, but it was a great question, and it's an easy fix. And you can go to a camping store or Michael's and probably buy, or Walmart, probably buy pre-elastic already with Velcro, or you can get a D-ring with Velcro and you can pull it tight and lock it in. So hopefully that'll help you.
Great. So Chad Stevens
I know
just
that.
asked, yep. He said, he asked me and I answered him in the chat, but he said, have you used the New Balance V3 yet? And are they comfortable? I haven't. So I told him I hadn't had a chance yet.
Is that that's the base shoe, right?
That's the new base shoe. I think they just came out this fall for the spring.
I've had a chance to wear them, but not in the game. So I'm a guy who buys a product. Like I said, I buy a lot of pairs of shoes. I get them on. Mrs. B lets me wear them in the house. And that's before I start polishing them because they actually break in. And I'm going to tell you about that shoe. It's got a better toe box. It has more leather or whatever, PU leather or leather, way more solid material than mesh material. I didn't like where the end was, to be honest, but after having them on, it goes over your head. I have the black and white with the white end, and the fresh foam in that shoe is, I'm not going to say you're wearing high heels compared to version 2, but you feel higher and it has way nicer compression. If you go back to like their first umpire base shoe, it looked like a great shoe, terrible shoe. I had them. I've given every pair away because they were never comfortable. Version 2 with the different heel, it was great. It felt like a running shoe, and I really liked those. And then when they came out with version 3, I jumped on them because the 10.5 4Es feel like slippers on my feet. So I jumped at those shoes. I've worn them in the house probably 25, 30 times instead of wearing my flip-flops. I wear those shoes in the house. They're broken in, ready to go if we get on the field, and it's time for me to start polishing. So I think that shoe is what it is. It's value for money. You can get them at umptire.com and a whole bunch of other places, but great shoe. I recommend it. So hopefully that answered your question, Chad. And your memorial patches are on the way. I'll send you the tracking number, and sorry for the loss of a good umpire from all accounts. So you got our condolences here at Ump Life. Okay, Tony.
All right. So Jacob Matthew, check your private messages for a link to join up. Jerry Fernandez asked a question, and I'm going to cover all bases with this.
All right.
He said, what is a good indiclicator, field abacus, whatever you guys want to call it, because everybody's got this stigma about what to call it.
Yeah.
What's a good clicker? He seems to have issues with not being able to read numbers during night games.
Okay. You know what? I wear glasses for a computer and reading, and my phone. I don't need them, and my computer, but I don't need them to umpire because I'm actually I'm still okay with that. I'm a 3-wheel Honig's indicator guy. There you go. That's how small I use it. I will be transitioning to the electronic indicator from Lewis at umpirestuff.com. It's probably living over here somewhere. And that's a little bigger in my hand, and obviously this is not electronic. This is a standard 3-wheel indicator, clicker, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. My wife calls it your scoring thing. Left it in my pants one night. Next day she said, your scoring machine's in your pants pocket. You got to check your pockets. I went, scoring machine? And sure enough, she pulls out the indicator. And I go, it's an indicator. She goes, I don't care what it's called. It's a scoring machine to me. So I'm this guy, and I like it because it's small in my hand. I know where the wheels are, and I have the green, the black, and the red. And I think at night where I'm working, it's pretty good lighting. So it depends where you're working. You can buy the you can buy the indicator a little bigger than this and probably the same sizes in the neon yellow or optic green. If that helps you, I don't have it's whatever's good in your hand. Some guys don't use one, so everybody's different. Everybody has their favorite, and mine technically is this, but it now is the electronic indicator from Lewis. That will be my go-to rig once the final version is done. Everybody has their own little things, man, and I'd never tell anybody what indicator to use. I just know what works for me. And what I like about this one is I can hear it. You know, when I can't hear it anymore, I ditch it. It goes in. I don't even give it away to anyone. I either throw it away or I just throw it in a bag that has 10 so many indicators in it. So that's my best advice: is get one that works for you, one you can see, maybe one you can hear. So hopefully that helps. And down the road, if you buy the electronic indicator, you might not have to worry about it because it'll vibrate and tell you the count. So there you go. That might solve your problem. Talk to Lewis Nickerson at umpirestuff.com. He's a great guy, and he'd love to field some questions for you. He might be able to help you. But my personal preference right now is the 3-wheel from Honix, and that's what I use. So thanks for the question. It was a good one, and hopefully I covered it for you.
Okay, great. The next question we have here is there some kind of a thought? This is from Chad Stevens. Is there a thought for some kind of a dry fit undershirt, maybe Ump Life brand, kind of like Under Armour, but or that's on Ump Attire?
Yeah. Like today I launched a 100% polyester moisture wicking shirt. It's not a tight fit. It's a loose fitting shirt, much like this Russell one I'm wearing. And it's got the Ump Life brand on it. So yeah, I've always had that, but what I'm not going to do, like I have the mock turtle. I had samples made, and I thought the price was pretty good, but to actually get it here and then, you know, do I want to compete with New Balance? Yeah, I technically compete with New Balance, but I don't want to compete with, if you're an Under Armour guy or you're a Nike guy, I'm never going to satisfy you. Okay. It's just the way it is in business. I like my brand, but I have other brands that I support. But from a business point of view, I don't really want to get into clothing, and I'm going down the road where I might offer the leggings. I may offer the compression shorts with cup. Right now I'm developing stuff, and I'm working on a lot of things I can't talk about because I just don't want it out there right now. I never intended for this to go where it's going, but it's been great and I've enjoyed doing it. A one-man show sometimes is great, but it's also your worst enemy because you don't get a lot of sleep sometimes. And when it's busy, it's really busy. And I thank you for all that support. But I'm going to try and develop a certain amount of SKUs and stay at that level. I don't need to be, I don't want to go that. I don't want to be that guy. All right. I'm 59 years old. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. You know, we have a great page here, and it really only works because of the membership who participate and contribute, and great admin staff, and we're always talking about, you know, do you think we should, you know, do this or do that? And you know, everyone has a say in it. It's my page, but I really trust everybody who's part of it, and I can't thank you enough. So hopefully, Chad, that answers your question. I will develop more product and soft goods, but it's all about money right now, and where do I spend my money? Because I've been pretty smart saving it and being able to develop the bag. I was telling Tommy off air what it's going to cost to ship 300 bags. It's quite steep, and I don't like passing on that to the consumer or the customer, the end user. But sometimes projects get put on hold until you can rethink for next year, where I can put it on a boat in March and it gets here, or I can put it on a ship in January and it's going to get here. Like the mock turtlenecks, that's going to happen. And I'm looking at all the pricing for shipping today. So the mock turtlenecks are going to be coming. The ball bags are coming. two plate brushes will be coming, and as it stands now, and the plate coat will be coming, but everything I just mentioned will be a year out from now. So it will be arriving next February or March. And to save you money, I have to put it on a ship. And they call it the slow boat from China. So I'm trying to get things made in North America, but right now everything I run into is cost. It's gonna hurt the business, and it's a one of those situations where you have to figure, $1 million. So I'm trying to get things done right by some really good factories. And I'm going to, again, the other thing that I'm not going to talk about much is shin pads and chest pad. There will be an Ump Life chest pad. I'm negotiating with a certain person right now. Not a major league umpire, so don't even speculate. A couple of people know who I'm talking with, and if I can get the rights to that name, we're going to be laughing. So we're going to bring back something from the past, and we're going to make it modern, but still look classic looking. So I said enough. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, we're going to get into some clothing lines, and like I on that flyer I put up today, I added Ump Wife just for, because someone mentioned Mother's Day, and I thought, okay, I'll do that. I'll throw that up there. And I'm surprised how many guys have bought it for their wives. And again, I apologize to Kelly and Tiffany about not doing one for their husbands, but you come up with an idea, send it to me, and maybe we can make it work. So yeah, clothing will be next year, and there will be shorts, underwear, leggings, maybe socks. We'll figure it out. But thanks for asking the question, Chad.
Okay. So that's all the questions we have. Oh, here we go. How often do you polish your shoes? I'm ready to go this season with about 8 layers to start. So do you mind if I show something real quick?
No,
I always see people talk about the shoes.
Yeah, the more people that contribute, the better it is for the show.
All right. So see these Nike shoes right here, how bright and white they are?
Yep.
These are 7 years old. They have not got the first bit of polish that's ever touched them. And if you could see the inside of them on here, you'll notice the inside of them is broken down pretty bad.
Yep.
But the outside of them is just like day one. And all I've ever done is a soft brush, soap and water after the game. And another thing with shoes, a lot of people don't really think about is this is a shower cap. You can buy them at the stores. You can buy disposable packs of them or whatever. I keep a box of these in my bag. And when you have those games where it's like really muddy, nasty, I have it football in the fall, and occasionally in the spring, you'll have one of those muddy fields. When you get off the field, your shoe's pretty nasty. And if you're using a dressing room or something, you can beat it off or whatever. But I usually like to take and put this around the bottom of my shoe, and I can throw this right into my bag.
Great idea.
And you can buy a disposable package of like 30 of these for like $5, and it's worth it when it happens, because then you have something around your shoes and it doesn't get in your bag.
Where do you buy those, Tommy?
You can buy them at CVS, Walgreens, any kind of a store. Just look for shower caps. And I travel a lot for work. Usually hotels have them there, and I'll just take whatever they have on the counter and throw them in my bag, and I'll accumulate a bunch of them during the year, and I'll just throw them in my umpire bag or my football bag and use them as it happens.
My wife, Mrs. B's a kleptomaniac too. When she's at the hotel, she takes all the coffee and tea.
Yeah. So Tyler Norton has a question.
Oh, Tyler Norton, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Colorado.
So, will the leggings that you're looking to make have a spot for a cup?
A spot for what?
A cup.
No, we're not talking leggings. Leggings that come up over the thigh, that go to your ankle to the thigh. What I didn't mention is the McDavid type padded thing that will have a cup holder. So that's in development right now. Waiting on samples. Right now we're not on the field, and that's a blessing, because I have so many samples waiting in the Far East right now at airports, and there aren't enough airplanes. From what I heard, UPS and DHL are buying more planes right now. So there is a tremendous backlog of product at airports right now, or in a bunch of warehouses around airports in the Far East. So You can pay for expedited shipping, but it's not going to be here in 3 days. It'll be 10 days to 15 days. So there will be a cup placement for the pants.
Okay, so we have a guest coming on. We have Jacob. I'm admitting him into it now. So Jacob, waiting for you to join. Let's see. Don't have him on audio yet. And we got him in the meeting, but he hasn't logged into audio yet. So we'll give him a couple minutes to get his audio logged in. Lewis Nickerson wants to know, do you know when you are going to start accepting pre-orders for your new bag?
Yeah, Lewis, how you doing, buddy? Good talking to you today. We had a couple of laughs today with a NASA post. I'm going to do the flyer tonight. The bags have been ordered. Just had a bunch of stuff I had to get done today for a couple of deadlines I had to meet. And so I managed to get the t-shirt flyer done, and in my draw program, the bag pre-order is ready to go. So I'll try and get that up first thing whenever I get to it tonight. I've got a few other things I've got some graphic work coming in right now, which is paying the bills. It's kind of cool actually when you get to do stuff like this, and I can say, well, I can do something for you. So yeah, Lewis, I'll get it done, man. So good talking to you today, buddy.
Jacob, welcome to the call. You're on live with Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Jacob, what's up?
I had to chime in. Ray, I really appreciate everything you do for all of us umpires.
Thank you.
You do an amazing job, and you think outside the box. And you guys were talking earlier about like how people put their bags together and the routines that different umpires have come up with. Like,
yep.
A lot of guys, they're spraying their stuff and putting their bag after every time, or they just come up with all these different routines. Some of them we've found natural, and we're like, oh, well, Joe Blow's doing that, let me do that. But then you have kind of shown people, well, this is going to make your stuff last longer. And the one thing I do want to say is I love the shoe bags. The shoe bags make you realize that now your whole equipment bag has a new purpose. So I appreciate you sending me those out. And I guess my question is, what made you jump into this like seamstress? And I'm probably asking the same question someone else has asked, but what made you jump into this idea of just helping umpires evolve their game and make sure they have good equipment?
Well, it all started, great question, by the way. I don't get to talk about this very often. I was a former hockey player. I was a goaltender, and I would order equipment from 3 different companies every couple of years or every year. And I would ask for modifications, and I would pay the money. They would show up, custom made for Ray Brownlee, blah, blah, blah. But I paid for all that work, but they never did it. So I decided to look at my goalie pads and take them apart. Like, I'm going to start unpicking the threads, see what's in there. And why didn't they do it the way I asked them? So I learned to take something apart, look at it and go, I would have made it this way. So I learned how to sew from my mother, actually. Believe it or not, I could make you a set of curtains. So I don't advertise that very often, but I learned to sew and I learned to cook. My mom taught me how to do that, and she's not with us anymore. But that's one thing I'll always remember, that she taught me to be able to fend for myself. And so, getting back to the hockey days, back in the day when goaltenders had a chest pad and separate shoulder pads, arm pads, and one day I was thinking, I'm tired of putting these 2 things on together. So I made the original triangle, but I reversed it, upside down triangle. So we're going this way. And I attached the chest pad to the shoulder pads and hand sewed it, and it worked great. And so I started doing that for my friends. And then a couple of years later, the manufacturers started making a 1-piece chest and arm pads. So I've always been able to tweak something like catching glove. I could unlace it and make it a deeper pocket by using skate lace, and then so I've always tweaked my sporting. I've always been in sporting goods most of my life, whether working for someone else or my teamwear business or my sports repair business. I used to repalm a lot of hockey gloves. So I've always been able to make my own stuff for my needs. Like the lineup card folder was a complete fluke. It was sitting in a Chinese restaurant one night with my wife, and they brought the check and it had a magnetic thing on it. And I got the phone out and started taking photographs and measuring it. And I went home and I went to the hardware store and bought these magnets. And long story short, that's how the lineup card holder was created. So for umpires, because I was tired of buying the Honigs or the Diamond or the Smitty one and paying $6 and having to go to the hardware store and buying a roll of duct tape to keep it together for 3 months. So I decided to make my own, and I started letting my friends use them. And this all started because of Umpire Empire. And the title was between our million years experience, you think we could come up with a better lineup card holder? And I debated for a week and a half about going click. I think I have. And I did it. I finally got enough balls to do it because I was just a Canadian guy and just very little contribution on that site at the time. I was a lurker, not really a contributor. And sure enough, I was inundated with orders, thousands. And I'm thinking, well, I've got to scale this up. I've got to set up a production plant in my basement. So just happened to know a guy in the Far East who did some work for me a long time ago. And he set it all up and boom, we're away. So that's how it all started, man. It was my hockey days to current days. And as the success of the lineup card holder, I thought, you know what, there's a shelf life. And do I like doing this? And I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to do some more products. And that's how the harness really got created for my hockey days. And I remember All-Star phoning me up and saying, we don't like what you're doing. I go, well, I have an original sketch in my safety deposit box from 1980 something. Do you have one of them? And they just said, no, have a nice life. So that's how it all got started. And that's how it's continued to grow. And then really getting into umpire.com, like with Jim Kirk, they contacted me. I didn't seek them out. And we've had a great relationship for 4.5 years now. And they're my distributor, and I distribute on my own, but you know, they do a great job selling my product, and it's a great relationship. It's a great friendship, and that's how it all started, and that's how it will all end. I have no plans. I've been offered, people have actually asked me to sell on life. I have too many things to do right now to even worry about something like that. I want to continue to grow the business on my scale, not anyone else's scale, because I just don't want to get 100% consumed by what I do. I love what I do, and I love umpiring, and I love being able to go, hey, Mrs. B, we're heading out for 3 days. I like that I'm able to do that, because I can go see some of my friends in the minor leagues in the Northeast of the US, and it's great when I get to see those young guys working, and we've been friends a long time. So that freedom is really good. And you know what? I've met so many great friends who are umpires, and I never, even the people who are starting out, I give them the same amount of time and courtesy. I don't really, what you don't want to do in this industry is make enemies. You know, a lot of doors have been open for me because of what I do. And I'm thankful for that. You know, the major league guys sought me out. They heard about it. And I've got some great friendships that'll last forever and long after they're not umpiring in the major leagues. They know who I am. We're friends now. And it's kind of cool when they call you to see what you're up to. You know, I had a couple of calls last week and out of the blue, and or on Messenger, or, you know, just, you know, like just perfect example is Jansen Visconti, the interview we did with him. You know, Greg Gibson, I'm trying to get Joe West. That's a hard I can get him to endorse the plate coat that's coming, but I can't get him to come on here because he doesn't like technology. He's like me. So yeah, that's how it all got going, man, Jacob. And thanks for your compliments and the goodwill. And hopefully I show the same thing back to all my customers. Here's an example. I screwed up a harness and a lineup card holder for Tim Meyer in Germany. And he brought it to my attention that the letter was slightly crooked. And I went, yeah, okay, I see that now. I didn't see it when I was sending it to you, but that's probably my mistake. And I put the wrong logo on the lineup card holder. So I contacted him. I said, okay, let me get this straight. This is what you want? Yeah. So I made it. It got shipped and I told him I'm shipping it out. They went out yesterday to him and he told me, you don't have to do that. Well, yeah, you do. I made the mistake, not him. And just for him bringing it to my attention, that told me there was an issue. And that issue could be one person saying, I wouldn't buy from him. He's a dick, or I didn't like the way he treated me. And you know what? My customer service is way beyond. I would say if I put a budget on my customer service, it costs a lot, because you know what? It's one bad post on Facebook about my product and I'm done. I'm pretty well shut down. And as a guy who's doing this for the love of doing it and I make a living from it, I have to go that extra mile to make sure that you're happy as a customer, because not everybody on UmpLife is a customer of mine. They're members of my page. And I look at it, they are potentially a customer. And, you know, like today we had a post about an umpire passing away. And I removed the post because that's not what our page is about. It's sad that an official has passed on. But UmpLife is not the place to put that obituary. You can do that on your own page. Dave Ducat, our admin, has a page dedicated to umpires and sports officials who passed. So please do that on other pages other than UmpLife, because that's not what we're about. We get some great stories like today. I threw up that one about the AAA umpire. You know, realized there's too many guys up there that are not going to retire, and I'm on the dance floor in AAA, and I don't. This song's going to stop, and I'm going to get released. He talked to a guy in Major Leagues and said, I'm going to go back to school. He's now a lawyer today. So his plan B came later in life, but man, he saw the writing on the wall. Why would you want to be a AAA umpire for a career? It's not worth it. So back to your question, Jacob. Thank you for everything you said. I didn't mean to get on my long-winded explanation, but that's how I feel about my customers and my friends. So thank you for a great question, and I hopefully shared a good story for you.
Yeah, you did great. I told Tommy I wanted one more follow-up, and
yeah, go ahead.
Put this in here as a caveat.
Yep.
I even added my wife onto UmpLife, just so like every time you put a new product out, yep, she could see it too, and then she could order it for me as a gift. So hey, guys out there, I don't know how many people are watching right now, but put your wives on there. They know you want this stuff, and they're going to order it for you. But my real question was, okay, so the second question on here.
Yep.
I wear a West Vest Platinum. And I find that I feel like it doesn't cover my bottom ribs as much.
Right.
Okay. And so what I'm looking is, you know how there's the chest plate, then the extender plate.
Yep.
I'm wondering if someone could put a second extender plate on the bottom of that West Vest, and if anybody's ever thought about this.
Sure they have. It's been done. Now, I announced a couple of weeks ago that I was actually making a new plastic plate for my Carlucci because I got a crack in it. So I am going to make extender plates for chest pads. If a guy wants 5 inch, like it's obviously going to be a custom item, because some guys want 3 inches, some guys want 5 inches. Now, if you're 6'8", your torso is going to be longer. So you need a 5 inch or a 7 inch extension just to cover it. So what I'm going to do is I bought a jigsaw, but my table isn't good enough with clamping and everything else to cut the ABS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a scroll saw. Mrs. B has a little part-time job at Lowe's, and they're actually opening up again on Saturday. So I'm gonna go buy a scroll saw because I just didn't want to go in that lineup and wait for it. It might take 10 days, but it's opening on Saturday. So I'm gonna go buy a scroll saw and I'll be able to cut ABS on the weekend and have the templates made. So I will be offering that as a product for Ump Life. So thanks for that question.
Nice. Am I going to need to send you like the entire CP, or is this
Nope.
going to be something that you
Nope.
send me that's an add-on?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna cover it in nylon, plastic on the front, nylon on the back, just like your chest pad now. It will be black ABS unless you want to paint it, but no one's gonna see it anyways. And it's basically, it'll be pliable to put a heat gun to it to bend it. So it's gonna be a 1/2-inch padding with attachments, and you may have to put drill two holes into your chest pad and use hockey helmet screws. I'll explain it all when I actually show you what I'm talking about. We can use Velcro, but if you want to attach it permanently, that's the best way to do it. And it's not going to really do any damage because if you look at some of the chest pads already have holes drilled in them. But just trust me on that. I'll have something by next week that I can show everybody.
That's awesome. I'm glad I asked you that if that was on your radar, because that's a serious like protection issue for me.
Yep.
Is my bottom 2, 3, 4 ribs are hanging out. So
Ray,
we appreciate everything you do. And Tommy, thanks for letting me get on here.
Thanks, Jacob.
All right. Have a good day, Jacob.
I see Tyler Norton's joining.
Tyler Norton, welcome to the call. You're on Live with Ray.
Ray, Tommy, how we doing, guys?
Good, Tyler. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Ray. Not really much of a question here. More so just kind of wanted to give a bit of a shout out to, I guess, to you and your products and what you do. Just let anyone know who may not know Ray personally. A few years back, actually would have been back in 2017 that I saw you down at Bob's Clinic in Florida.
Yep.
But got the chance to actually sit and talk with Ray and actually get to know him on a personal level. And for anyone who does not personally know Ray, you guys sure as heck better wish that you did, because Ray is 100% genuine in who he is and what he does. I'll flat out tell everyone here, if there's people that haven't tried some of Ray's products, Ray gives us the best price that he possibly could on a lot of the products that he gets out there. And quite frankly, I think a lot of the stuff that he produces is worth twice as much as what he's asking us to pay. So for anyone who ever wants to question the quality of what Ray's products are, his products are worth 2-3 times what he actually, asks us to pay for them. So if I could outfit my whole gear bag with everything Ump Life, and, even not that you'll get into the clothing business, but if you did, I can guarantee you, Ray, I'd be buying your shirts and your pants as well. So
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, like we're going to do some clothing. It's just a little expense. I will do it. It's just getting the right product, and it takes time to develop something like that. It's easy to throw a logo on something, but I really, before I release something, I want to be 100% sure it's going to work. And like, I've been fortunate with everything that I've released. It's been really good. And now Ump Tire, I think, has 13 different SKUs now, and they started with 2. So when Jim Kirk told me, Ray, we're all in with you, we want to be your guy. And that right there to me was, I thought, okay, I can now plan for the future. And I actually talked to Ump Tire and Jim and the staff down there, because we share a lot of ideas. We talk a lot, and great bunch of people. They want success for me, and they want me to develop products for them. So like I said, the Japanese plate brush, Jim was on about that forever. Instead of $49, we'll be able to sell it for $29. So just, it's the little things that we can do to make life easier for umpires. And I think it really helps when you can tell the narrative that I'm also an umpire. So I understand what a mask does. I understand what a chest pad does. When I introduce my chest pad, guys are excited about it, because if they're excited about my harness, great. I love selling harnesses. I love doing custom work for guys, even though you can't see it. But if it wasn't for the American umpire who wants their name on something and a logo, I'd just be a guy pumping out stuff. But when I can offer that little extra for $6, $7, $8 more, depending on what it is, on all your products that you order, it gives you satisfaction. It gives me pleasure and pride that you're trusting me to make your product and do the custom work. So I think it's really cool that, you know, I'm an umpire working for umpires, and it's kind of weird when you're born in Scotland, living in Canada, and selling to 98% of your customers are American. And really, without it's funny, but it's a true story, man. And if I could move there tomorrow, I told Jim Kirk, you buy me out, I'll do all the customized stuff in Arizona or Florida. And he goes, okay, we'll talk. And it's just, you know, I'm so lucky to be able to do this job. And when you think of it, when you go to work every day, and sometimes my work is 7 in the morning till 6:45 the next day in the morning. But that's just me doing my stuff, so you don't have to wait for your order. And I make them as they come in. And, you know, right now I'm only making 1 trip a week to the courier, but, you know, I found a new courier where I didn't have to go through Canada Post. I could get it right to Toronto on a truck, right into Niagara Falls, New York, right into the tracking system of the US Postal Service. And I've saved thousands of dollars by doing that, because I was getting hosed left, right, and center by Canada Post. So yeah, like whatever I can do for umpires, I'm going to keep, my mission is pretty simple. I'm going to keep developing products and always treat every customer like they're the most important customer I have, because, you know, you've been a repeat customer for a long time, and you've been with me since day one when you got all that free stuff at the Outscan. So good for you, and thanks for your patronage, buddy.
Oh, not a problem, man. I hope you didn't feel like I was pushing too much on that bag, but, you know, like I said, the quality of products that you come out with, when you said you were coming up with a small bag like that,
yeah,
without even seeing it or knowing what you had, I knew it was something I was going to have with all of my gear. So,
you know what?
anyways.
Hey, Tyler, you actually were a really good driving force behind that bag. And when I put up the first graphic a long time ago, you said, man, this will be great for my other sports. And you know what? I'll do a video for you tomorrow and just send it to you privately. You're gonna love that bag. And like I did, we talked privately yesterday. I'm sending you. I'm gonna get one made for you, because I have 4 extra, but one's going on Patire, and I'm gonna decide where the other 3 go. But Tommy's got one, I got one, you've got one on Patire, so I've got 2 left. And there was only 6, but I told, oh, and Dave Ducat, sorry. So that's 1 left, and I'll figure out where that one's going. But yeah, like I said, I'll put your name on it and get it to you, man.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, man. I'll get you a new shipping address for that too. So
just send me an email with it, all right?
Will do. Thanks, Ray.
Okay, buddy, be good.
Welcome,
do.
Kelly
Bye.
Elliott. Welcome to the call, Kelly Elliott. Don, you're on Live with Ray.
Hey, Ray, how's it going?
Kelly, how's it going?
Hey, I kind of know somebody that might be interested in that last bag. I'm kidding.
Wow. Well, for your husband for Father's Day?
Hey, there you go. Absolutely. Yeah. Tommy, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You've been on before.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying thanks again.
You did good.
Thanks. It was a blast. I absolutely had a lot of fun.
I got a lot of really good feedback from that. It was
That's fantastic.
You know what? Every one of those shows we did, with all the guests, were really unique and cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking
did.
forward to more. I can't wait. I can't wait to see who's next.
How do you like that backdrop?
I love the backdrop. It's awesome.
I made that 10 minutes before we went on.
Did you really?
Yeah, I said, Tommy, check this one out.
It's awesome. Highly creative. I love it.
Yeah.
Really sharp looking.
What are you up to?
I'm sitting in an emergency vet right now. My poor puppy decided to eat something she shouldn't have. So looks like she's going to be okay. But because of the pandemic, I am in the parking lot. So no adults allowed inside, just our furry friends.
Wow, just like the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, I was thinking the other day, I don't know that I've ever asked you about this. Have you ever thought about a garment bag?
Oh yeah, I can tell you. I can tell you the horror stories from the garment bags. I actually had, I think, 6 made, and they were pretty good, but they forgot to put the internal hook inside.
Yeah.
where you could hang 6 hangers.
Whoops.
Or sorry, they put that part in, but they didn't actually put a part in that comes out and hangs up. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, that's how we make them. I go, well, no. So then I ditched him and found another guy, and they weren't any better. And then I found this absolutely bag that I would die for. I showed some photographs, and next thing, yeah, let's get 300 of them. But I will pay for the way I want it to come to me. So I could get one off the shelf sent over, but it wouldn't be what it would be the same bag, but a different color scheme. So this bag was black with gold nylon and clips, and it looked really sharp, but I wanted it black and charcoal. So wherever it was gold would be charcoal. And he says, well, no, we'll charge you $300 a bag to make that. I go, good, I'll take 5 of them. And they wouldn't make them.
Wow.
We're not shutting down our production for 5. I go, okay, give me 10, 15, 25, whatever it takes. But I'm not ordering 500, 300 to 500 until I see the sample.
Sure.
And that factory has probably, they just never really gotten back to me, but that was the bag I wanted. And there's been a bunch of other umpires ask me about that garment bag, that particular one, and I will revisit that again. So yeah, it's something that I haven't ditched for good because of the experience I had. I've now, the lady that deals with me with the lineup card holders, her husband's actually Canadian. So when I was going to China for my trip before the COVID-19 happened, when the US made it level 3, threat level 3, don't travel, I was already going to the airport, and I had factory tours all lined up. And this Canadian guy living in China had it all arranged for me. So, you know, that trip will happen. I'm probably going to go in December. If it's safe, I'm making the trip to China to actually meet a bunch of new factories that I'm going to be making product in. So that's a good thing. So yeah, that garment bag isn't dead, and I really want to revisit it because I think for the guys who are changing in parking lots, it's a good, or traveling for weekends away, it'll work. So it's not going to be a $29 garment bag. It's going to be a nice piece of luggage. And one thing, I can't make it, I don't want to make it cheap where you think it's cheap. I want to make it a reasonable price and you feel like you got a nice piece of luggage. And that new bag is that feel. So that's where I stand on how I come up with an idea and how I'm going to deliver it to the customer. It has to be value for money, but it has to be quality. And
Absolutely.
that's the one way I think. I think outside I know I could get some things made cheaper, but they're gonna be cheaper. And when you get a good factory, it takes forever to get that factory. But once you dial in a factory, you pray to God that that person doesn't leave because you're starting over again. And I've had a few experiences where the person I was dealing with, great English, good communication, the winter gloves, I finally found out yesterday that the guy I've been dealing with all this time, wondering why he hadn't redone the samples, sent me the samples, or communicated with me. He had the virus, and he just got back to work yesterday. So,
Oh no.
yeah, it's unfortunate, but he said, Ray, I apologize. You don't have to apologize for anything, man. I just contacted the head of the factory saying, here's this thread, what happened? I paid you all this money, what happened? And they said, well, we can't really talk about it. We'll get George to call you. He sent me an email, said, Ray, I apologize, please forgive me. Blah, blah, blah. Dude, I get it, man, it's okay. Nobody died. And I always say that to young umpires, like when you make a mistake and the guy yells at you and he's out there screaming at you, like, I always say, hey, nobody died, man, relax, it's okay. As long as nobody dies, that's how I deal. It's like management, So yeah, that garment bag will be it will be in the lineup one day.
That'd be awesome. I know I've probably gone through 4 cheap garment bags in like 5 years. And, I don't use them just for my college games or transporting my uniforms. I just use them plain when I travel. That'd be nice to show off that Ump Life logo, even if it's just a personal fun travel somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Gosh, I don't know. It's been a long day, so forgive me. That was the one question I wanted to ask you about. But I like the backdrop and I love everything that you're doing for us. Thank you so much.
So let me ask you a question. When do you, in Ohio, when do you think you'll be back on the field?
Gosh, I don't know. Governor DeWine has done a really nice job here, trying to do things using science, using facts. So today he came out with an announcement and a timeline for opening up some restaurants and bars. So I know that Ohio Department of Health has a no contact sports order until June 30th. But that's the Ohio Department of Health. So they may revisit that. And if they do revisit it, and if they do bring it backwards a little bit, and make it like June 15th or even sooner than that, then, that's what we're all kind of looking forward to. But, it's just so hard. You just never know. And Governor DeWine and Dr. Acton are very, very data driven. So, yeah.
What about is Little League following the same protocols?
I think so. I think especially in Ohio, maybe I can't speak for all of Ohio, but around here, it seems like that a lot of the youth leagues, and whether it's Little League or whether it's summer ball, they seem to be following what OHSAA is following.
Yeah.
And in turn, OHSAA is kind of following with, the Ohio Department of Health. So with OHSAA saying that the school facilities will not be accessed until June 30th, I think other organizations are falling in line the same way. My son is a freshman, so he's been getting a lot of emails from his summer ball coach,
right,
just to try to keep them up to date, because there's that gray area.
Sure.
Is there going to be anything reminiscent of a high school season? And if not, can these guys go ahead and play summer ball? And when can there be contact? And it's a lot of unanswered questions. I've been seeing a lot of things on social media from different parts of the world about getting back to the game, and even regarding Little League, because Little League has come out and said that they will be altering, or allowing the alteration of mechanics for this year as needed. So they're not stating that you have to alter the mechanics. And I think they're referring to where you would put a plate umpire.
Sure.
But
You know what? That's a great question, or great, I want to go into something that I noticed
Sure.
yesterday. And Tommy, I'm going to ask you on your opinion on this too. So I saw some posts the other day about, and they're on social media, so we'll just leave it at that. And the thing was, the premise was, do I stand in A, or do I, where do I stand if I have to call from behind the plate? And we had a million things, and the smart ass umpire said, well, who's going to call it on the line? Like, if that's the only thing that you can say in a situation like that, when we're trying to get back on a field, I believe that if you have to call it from behind the pitcher, and that's what the temporary situation will be, then if you want to umpire, you're going to go and do it. But you don't have to be, as an individual, take over a thread and say, no bleeping way am I ever going to call, I won't show up. But you know what? Nobody cares if you show up or not. If you want to contribute and you want to get back on the field, this may be the only way to do it. So by coming out and saying, no way, it's never going to happen, I'm way too good to be doing it from there, blah, blah, blah. I just find that like you just took over a thread for all the wrong reasons. And if you want to contribute to a thread, like, don't be the keyboard warrior. Think about what you're going to type, or think about what you're going to say first, and read it over. Get your wife or your husband, you think this is okay? And if he says, or she says, yeah, it's all right, you're on the right track, click, send it. But don't be that guy or that girl.
Yeah.
I just think we have too much negativity right now in a world we're not sure what's going to happen next. So, I try to stay as positive. Like, I've had a couple of days of cabin fever, I'm not going to lie, and it wasn't a fight with Mrs. B or my dad. It was just, I just got to get out of the house, and I'm going to the end of the backyard. I'll just go to the bank, and you come home and you go, okay, I got some fresh air. But like, man, I've had 2 days where I wasn't climbing the walls, but I just felt like, man, I've been here for 6 weeks and this is doing my head in. And the stupid part is, this is where I work, right where I'm sitting now. So I don't know why I was getting cabin fever. Nothing changed for me. And it was like, it was just, and then when you watch all the news and you're hearing nothing but negative stuff. So, Tommy, what do you think?
So, I've been president of multiple nonprofits, and I'm a government appointee on top of my normal 9 to 5 job. And the one thing I've found in everything I've ever done in life is everybody's got a boss, even if you are the boss. So if I get assigned a game and I'm told I work from A, calling balls and strikes, or I work from C, calling balls and strikes, whatever the Caesar that I work for at the time tells me to do, if I want to work games, I do what Caesar tells me.
Right.
That's that plain and simple. If you don't want games, you buck the system. If you want games, you conform and do what your Caesar says.
Yeah. Kelly?
I kind of looked at it. I try to look at it always from multiple angles and try to see everybody's opinion. And I think what I'm disappointed most in is, maybe somebody will post something and say, hey, what do you think? Little League has mentioned that we can alter our mechanics. What would that look like for other fields? Or what do you think simply about putting somebody behind the mound? And people just are so quick to attack, and you're right, Ray, like it's hard when somebody wants to be the keyboard warrior and take over the conversation to prove a point. But I'm also seeing it on the opposite side. And, I think you and I may have been reading different threads, but for instance, I saw a lot of people just being nasty to one another. Right. Where, the one guy was like, look, it's just me. I won't do it this way. It's not in my blood to alter these mechanics so severely. Right. And it's, and he wasn't saying anything negative about somebody else who would do that altered mechanic. Mm-hmm. He just said, listen, it's just not in my blood, whatever, And then somebody else is like, well, fine, man, stay home. I'll take those games then, more for me. And I'm like, just dang, be nice about it, Like everybody can have an opinion, but let's be respectful of each other. And so, I definitely agree with Tommy. It starts first with your assigner and the tournament organizers. What do they want? I absolutely think when it comes to something like a youth game, a little league game, where the stakes aren't so high, we're not talking college ball, we're not talking pro ball. Sure, maybe there is a place where you can do that. But at the same time, I think a lot of people lost sight that a little league field is a 60-foot field. Yeah. That is, I'll tell you what, I have never felt like such an out of place Godzilla, large human being, is when you're on a 60-foot field with a bunch of small kids. So now
I've been there a couple of times. It's scary.
Yeah, you start talking about this idea of, okay, let's put the umpire behind the mound. It's not necessarily a mound. It's little league. Yeah. So, you're that plate umpire being back there, let alone the possibility of a base umpire being back there, which I don't think they should. Now you're dodging balls coming from the shortstop across to first, and that's it's just a whole nother dynamic, and I think you're right. I think everybody needs to just take a step back and think, okay, what's our option? Do we have an option? But if this is going to be safe, if this is how we're going to do it safely, amen. And if it's not going to be safe, then we don't.
That's great. There was one thing I don't really get into on Ump Life is politics and religion, but one post that absolutely stuck out in my mind on a social media thing was your president actually tweeted to the Little League kids. Mm-hmm. And as a Canadian, I just looked at it. Hey, what a cool thing to do. He made a tweet aimed at Little League, and it was a travel ball Facebook page, and someone posted it, and the intent, I believe the intent was, wow, look what your president or our president just posted to encourage to all the little leaguers out there that, hey, you'll be back on the baseball diamond soon. And I watched that thread absolutely implode within 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And I literally went, how could you take that? How could you take that not the way it was intended? It was the commander in chief, whether you support him or not, It was him making a tweet to every little leaguer in the United States. And I just went, I'm shaking my head in disbelief how those keyboard warriors just attacked the person who made that post. And there was no malice involved. It was just a great message from the commander in chief of the United States to every little league player and parent in the United States. And it just got absolutely blown way out of proportion. So I don't know if you saw it, but like, I really don't want to talk politics, but that, I don't think that was ever meant to be a political statement. And it got turned into something, and it showed you the true colors of how people can just, on a keyboard, do a lot of damage. And so, I just wish people would think it through. And, we're with Ump Life, we're really lucky. Our 5,500 members everyone's fantastic. And, we just have to every now and then put someone in line. But I think we have one of the best pages out there, and it's been successful from day one, and the membership continues to grow, and it's a great admin team and just a bunch of great people that I've only met a handful of those people in real life, but man, everyone, I think of them as my friend. So it's a good
That's
thing.
well, you make us feel like your best friend too. So we appreciate it. Thank you, Ray.
No, it's like, I thank you guys because really you make Ump Life what it is. It's a social media platform where I conduct some business, but it really is. And you and I have talked lots of times on the phone, and it's like I've known you forever because what I'm seeing is what I'm getting. You know what I mean? And
Thank
that's
you.
like Tom. I've never met Tommy, but it's like it feels like I've known Tommy for forever. Lewis Nickerson, I got to meet him in January, and it feels like we went out for dinner with a bunch of his friends, and it felt like we'd known. We were laughing and laughing and laughing the whole dinner, just about life and funny things that have happened. And when I left there, I said, you know what, Lewis, that was one of the best dinners I've ever had with people I only met 3 hours ago, but I feel like I've known them for 25 years. They will be my friends forever. So, and he feels the same way. So as much as I talk to you, I've been talking to Lewis almost every other day, and we have a laugh just shooting the breeze about his product, my products, what he's up to. And that's what we like about this page. And I'm really happy I decided to do this gotta ask thing, because I think it's been a really good way to communicate with more of our membership.
An interesting thing, Ray, you mentioned about that is I'd never talked to Lewis on the phone or anything until about 3 weeks ago with you. And
Yeah.
we found out that Lewis and I indirectly met each other in 2013. I was working the big league softball Southeast region tournament down in Florida. And he was like, you did that tournament? Was that the one they moved from this field to the other field because of a protest? And I was like, yeah, I was on the right field line because there was a Virginia team playing. And he was like, I was at that game. So we're looking at 7 years ago, me and Lewis were within proximity of probably 50 feet from each other.
Wow.
And it's such a small world. Here we are talking to each other on the phone. And it was just weird.
So I made that post. I did that post for him today with the indicator launching on pad 39A in Florida. And then I thought, you know what? We talked on the phone. And I said, because I always call Lewis my NASA guy because he's so smart. And I just love when I say, hey, NASA guy, what are you doing? And so I decided, well, I'm going to find a photograph of a control room from the 70s, and I'm going to make it all about the indicator. So I threw up the other one. I said, hey, come and check out the umpirestuff.com control center. So I thought, I actually said, what should I type in? So I typed it, and we're laughing. We're literally in tears when I threw it up there. So I had fun with him, and just to throw a graphic together for him because he's my NASA guy. I'm going to continue this NASA theme when this indicator gets launched. So we'll probably have a countdown clock and everything. So it's going to be fun.
I can't wait. I loved seeing the NASA photos. They were really awesome. Very, very creative.
There you go. And then go to the lab, Tommy. Check that out. it's even got it's got the indicators on the desk. It's got in the two monitors, it's got some of the things the indicator does. It's his logo's on the phone. I really enjoyed that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, he liked it too. I said, "Can I have your permission to post this?" And he goes, "Sure, go ahead." And I just thought, okay, this is funny.
It's awesome.
He like, hey, Luke, if you're on there, call in, man.
So my dad was an engineer, and I
Okay.
have another very good friend named James Altabello, who's an engineer.
Nice.
And I know
Good
Lewis
customer.
is right. I know Lewis is an engineer, and you know that they say about engineers, right?
No,
That they will continue to improve and pick at their own problems.
right.
And at some point, we're gonna have to just step in and say, "Man, it's good. It's ready, and let's go. It's awesome."
You know what? That I think that works for what I do too, Kelly.
Yeah.
And the way I do it is, if I come up with an idea or a product, if I won't wear it, I'm not going to try and sell it to any of the customers, because if I won't wear it, I have this thing in my head that if I don't use the product I'm trying to sell, how can people believe it?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea, and I totally agree with Lewis. He's going to tell you down the road what he's up to. I'm lucky he actually tells me what's going on, and it's getting there real quick, and good for him. He as I said, he had a round in the chamber and he finally pulled the trigger. So good for him. Things are moving in the right direction. He's figuring it out, and I just wish some of those on his page today, there was a lot of speculation of the price. $200, $25, and again, the keyboard warrior. No way in the world am I paying that. Blah blah blah. I'm going, how do you even know? Why are you speculating on the price? And I just typed in there. I said, hey, stop the rumors, stop the speculation. If you look above, there's an updating panel where Lewis updates people weekly. So, he's going through the teething problems, and so not everybody's a customer. So if you're a guy who loves the Honix 3-wheel indicator and you pay $8 for it or whatever it is, the chances are you're never buying the electronic indicator. And if you're so adamant that I can get by, why reinvent the wheel? Well, I made the comment, well, you can have the Fred Flintstone mobile where you got to use your feet to get it going, or you can have the Lamborghini with an engine and lots of tech in it. So maybe I shouldn't have went from Fred Flintstone to Lamborghini. I should have went from Fred Flintstone to Saturn car manufacturer.
Fred Flintstone to the Jetsons, but
Or
few
the
people
Jetsons.
realize that Flintstones are actually a post-apocalyptic world after the Jetsons. But that's
Where were you, Tommy? Where were you when I needed the Jetsons? There you go.
Well, remember the Jetsons happened before the Flintstones. The Flintstones are a post-apocalyptic society after the Jetsons. But anyway,
That's pretty deep. Here,
yeah, I read it on a Reddit post a couple years ago.
Is Boy Elroy? I remember that song.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I can imagine, without even being an engineer myself, and I teach a little bit about engineering, but just the things that Lewis had to do to bring that into production. And I just think people just don't either have a grasp of that, or they just don't understand what it takes to bring it from the Flintstones to the Jetsons, the thinking and the processes that have to go in to everything that's in this indicator is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Well, there was a post today on his page, and it was something about Ray and Lewis, blah blah blah, knows what's happening. And I said, stop right there. I'm just a tester and a consultant. That's it. And she goes, well, you're like the unofficial spokesperson. I go, you know what? I'm just telling you what this product is about. I don't get paid for saying anything about Lewis Nickerson or his product. He contacted me. He filled me in on the little secrets. He gave me one. He invested time with me. I gave him some tips and tricks, and here's how life got going, and here's how it went this way instead of that way. And we've been like buddies ever since. And he hasn't paid me a penny. And I introduced him. to a couple other people, I introduced them to major league umpires. I only did that because I have relationships with those people. And that's where, hey, I can help you get this to where you want it to go. So it was a no-brainer to me to help the guy because he was, number one, a great guy. Excuse me. So that's what I do. And when people ask for my help, if I can do it, I'll help you. So
Absolutely.
Tommy, what are you doing right now?
Right now, not much. Getting ready to file a report at work here in a little while.
You're not really executive producing tonight, are you? You're actually a participant.
I'm a participant, and I'm like your I'm like
Ed
your
McMahon.
I'm your Snurdly.
You're like my Ed McMahon tonight.
Yep.
That's fun. We got any questions?
All right, well,
Um,
Ray and Tommy, I'm signing off. I just wanted to say thanks again.
Thanks for
Appreciate your
calling
Thanks,
in.
Kelly.
See you, Kelly.
Okay. Good night.
Be good.
Hmm.
She is a great person. She really is.
Kelly's a lot of fun.
Damn good umpire too.
Yes.
She's an umpire.
Yep.
She's my
All right.
friend and she's an umpire.
Cool.
What do we got, Tommy?
Well, it looks like we're probably pretty good to go. Lewis
Cool.
tried to get connected and he was having some kind of problem, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening.
Was that marital problems or technical problems?
Technical problems.
Ah.
He couldn't. He threw away his Ovaltine decoder ring and couldn't figure out the password part of it. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, you know what? It's been a pretty good night, I think. I really enjoyed tonight. Totally winging it. No props or props that kind of show up like spirits. I enjoyed it tonight. It was fun. And you know what? We'll probably, I like this so much with people calling in. I really thought it worked well. And I would encourage we do that again, Tommy.
Yeah, I kind of liked it as well. It was a
Yeah.
little the feel.
It was like literally, if I look down to my right, it'd be like Ed McMahon on the couch.
Yep.
So thanks, buddy.
All right.
So hey,
Are we
folks, we're done, and not sure when we're coming back, but probably next Thursday, if it's good with Tommy, the executive producer and super admin of Ump Life. So yeah, we'll figure out what the next one's going to be, and I'm going to try and make some videos of some of the things we covered, and I'll just throw them up on Ump Life, and hopefully that helps. Sorry about when I get this screen back here, the green screen. We'll be able to actually throw up props or real life things. You can see them. So thanks for tuning in, and it's over to you, Tommy.
All right.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast of Gotta Ask, entitled Tips and Tricks, focusing on uniforms, shoes, and general equipment use. Please look to join us for future broadcasts as they become available. This will be posted to the Ump Life page and the Ump Life TV YouTube channel later this evening. Have a good evening, and may you and your family stay safe and healthy.
All that time in England sent me aimlessly on foot or by the help of transportation to knock on windows where a friend no longer live. I had